Here's a list of things that you should absolutely do in China if you want to either get the death penalty or get slapped by this random crazy auntie on the street. You don't want to get slapped by her. Don't do these things. So number 1, don't do religion in certain places. Yes, you can absolutely be religious in China. Here's a copy of the Bible that I have got in China, okay? So I'm not religious, but I'm also not atheist. I'm agnostic. I don't know, but I'm very interested, so I got a copy of the Bible. So you can absolutely be religious. You can be Christian, you can be Buddhist, you can be Muslim, you can have any religion that you like. You can even be religious in public places. You can go praying, that's fine. But the problem is, there are certain places where you might not be able to do religious activities, such as schools or universities, okay? So my university, for example, they prohibit doing any religious activities within the campus, and that is because it's a place of learning. You also can't do many other activities, okay? So it's just for studying. Now, of course, they welcome all types of religions. There are many halal canteens, there are many religious students on campus, and they encourage you. You can go to the church, to the temple, to the mosque, whatever, but you just can't do these kind of things on the campus. In fact, even in the first semester of studying, we learn about Chinese culture, and in that course, we learn about religion in China. So no, it is not banned here. You can be religious, but maybe there are some places where you can't do it. So just always double check before you go and do some things. It should be fine, but just check. All right, so number 2, politics. Don't discuss politics, all right? So especially as a foreigner, you come into another country. This goes for any country, to be honest. Don't go there, criticize the way things are run, yeah? You're a guest. You should just respect things are done differently here. I feel like people, they don't really care about that sort of thing. They care about things that affect them personally. So if it's a policy which affects them, maybe something related to education, or maybe their work or their lifestyle, maybe they might be happy to discuss this. But if you're gonna criticize the way things are run in the country, then I wouldn't talk about that. And I'm not saying it's illegal, right? There are actually some parks in Shanghai, and you can see a group of old men, they're all discussing politics in China. Sometimes they'll be criticizing it, okay? So yeah, some people will do it, but just don't do it as a conversational starter, yeah? Don't, when you make a new friend, talk about it. It has to be with someone that you know really well, okay? So number 3, jaywalking, okay? So jaywalking, I don't think it's as frowned upon as, let's say, Germany, for example, okay? Where everyone will just look at you and maybe they'll say something to you. In China, probably they won't do that. There's a lot of people here. There are going to be some crazy people who will do it. But the traffic here, well, they have different traffic rules compared to Europe and a lot of the world. You just always make sure to be safe. But also, when you're crossing the road and you're jaywalking, there are cameras, usually in many places, and they have a very, very good facial recognition services. So I know someone, and they jaywalked, and they got a text saying, you need to pay, I think it was a very little amount, maybe 20 RMB, which is, I don't know, $3-4. But, they can recognize your face. So just be very careful and just wait. Number 4, and this is something that I found a lot being in Shanghai, there are many tourists coming here, and I welcome many people to come here. The problem is that a lot of people come and they kind of expect everyone to speak English. Now, when you go to many countries around the world, maybe a lot of places they will cater to foreign tourists. That's their main source of income. In China, I don't think there is any real place where they specifically cater for foreigners. There are many Chinese tourists who come to every place. Don't be surprised when you come to Shanghai, a lot of people, especially public workers, maybe in restaurants, on the metro, or just anyone in general, they might not be able to speak English. Now, a lot of business people, a lot of students, they should be able to speak English, but I've also found a lot of people, maybe they're quite shy and they don't really want to speak it. So I just find it really cringy. People will just go into a cafe or a restaurant and be like, oh yeah, can I please get an Americano, please? Yeah, I'll just get that one over there. Yeah, small, please, with ice. And the worker's just like, what? At least learn how to say 你会说英文吗? Which means, can you speak English? Okay, or maybe just show them some translations on your phones. That's what I do. I'll just get some screenshots so I can ask people some questions when I'm in a different country, rather than being that obnoxious tourist. Right, next one is do not get scammed. Okay, yes, I know China is a super safe place and one of the least likely places you are to get scammed. And I very, very rarely see scams. That might be because I don't go to the scammy places. And there are some places, of course, with 1.5 billion people, be some scammers. Especially now after the pandemic has ended, we're seeing a lot more tourists coming to China, and in Shanghai especially. So if you go to East Nanjing Road, if you go to the Bund, these kind of places, People's Park, you might find a lot of scammers. So when you're walking down East Nanjing Road, you will get so many people approach you, especially if you're by yourself. If you don't look Asian, people will come to you. Same as Beijing. If you go to Tiananmen Square, a lot of people, they'll see you as a foreign tourist. They'll just try to take you to a cafe or their own shop, and they'll force you to buy something at a really high price. If you report them, well, yeah, you can get them in trouble, but they're relying on the fact that they're going to try to intimidate you. So if you ever do get in a situation, if someone comes to you speaking perfect English and invite you somewhere, maybe it's a scam, especially if it's in a super touristy place. But anyway, very unlikely, and if it does happen, do call the police, don't be afraid to. But maybe the most likely scam, this is kind of a scam, is when you go to the airport, you might get people approach you for a taxi. So just if someone approaches you saying, taxi, taxi, ignore them. It's going to be a very high price. Just get Didi. Yeah, so you just go on your phone, download an app called Didi. It's like the Chinese Uber. You can connect it to your Alipay. Okay, so your Alipay, you can connect to your bank and all of that. So it's much cheaper and you can control the rate. It's all metered, so it's okay. And the last one, pretty obvious, do not do drugs. This is a really big offense in China. If you have enough of it, you can get the death penalty. Something that many people don't know is that if you do drugs in another country and then you come to China, they might just test you for drugs and then they will cancel your visa. So I know some British guy, he did drugs in Thailand, he came to China and he got deported. He's not able to renew his visa. So come to China clean and do not do drugs when you're here. And guys, I've been in China for around 5 years or so now. Brilliant place to be. I really love it here. I'm about to graduate. I'm looking for jobs, so I'm going to stay here for many more years. So I really encourage you guys to come. I know a lot of countries around the world now, China are offering visa free to come here. Okay, before, quite expensive to come, but now visa free, so it's a great time to come and do so. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.